Stick a matchstick in your gob and put your trench coat on.
And we're off to Hong Kong in search of a better tomorrow.
And 2.
The Chris and Chris Show.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Chris and Chris Show. I'm Chris with a Chow Yun Fat Say. Oh, it's beautiful.
I mean, that's a super easy one. I am Chris with a Kenneth Sang K.
Yes, nice. I thought you were going to go for Kit.
Yeah, I thought I would go, I looked down the list and thought, no, let's go with Kenneth Sang. I like Kenneth Sang.
Yeah, me too, yeah. Never quite trust him when he plays a good guy.
Yeah, he's a shifty fucker.
He always, when he's shifty, he's really good at playing a shifty bastard. This starts off John Woo month on the show for all of November.
Mad that we've not done a John Woo thing so far, to be fair.
I'm sure it's always been in the back of our mind, but we just end up doing other things. Yeah. But it's good that we've got all of them to do, though. It's going to make a nice month. It's going to be wonderful.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. It's quality butter. We're just going to get straight into it. We're going to start with A Better Tomorrow.
Yes.
So, A Better Tomorrow was John Woo's 16th feature film, which is crazy, isn't it? Because it always seems like one of those movies that, it's the big debut, but no, 16th, which is crazy. Yeah. And it's the one that established him as a big-time director in Hong Kong, although he had made some fan favourites before that, like Hand of Death with young Sambo and young Jackie, and a movie of his I've never seen. I've got it. I've never gone to watch it. Last Hurrah for Chivalry, one of his kung fu swordplay movies.
I was going to say it's almost like oldie style sort of Chinese.
Because Eureka did a double pack of Hand of Death and Last Hurrah, and Criterion in the States, the classy Criterion label, released Last Hurrah for Chivalry on Blu-ray. So there you go.
Did he do Shed No Tears before as well? Hero Shed No Tears?
He did Hero Shed No Tears before this, but then it got released after. It was because it was kind of shelved, and then once this came out, it got released to cash in on it, kind of.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a decent movie, though.
I remember liking that. Yeah.
You can definitely see where he was going to go. Yeah. There's some flair of action stuff in there. It's very. I'm gonna have to watch that again because I remember it being unusually brutal.
yeah. It's got who's it got in it? It's got the dude from
Lam Ching Ying's in it.
Lam Ching Ying. Yeah. I don't remember it. I've only seen it once, but I remember
me too.
Thinking, that was good. That really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll have to give it another watch. Yeah. And as for Chow Yun Fat, he was primarily popular for a bunch of TV series he's been in, but this film cemented him as a big movie star in Asia, not just Hong Kong. The late Leslie Chung was a canto pop star and an actor, but this did a lot for his acting career. And T. Lung, who was a prominent Shaw Brothers actor in the 70s, it was kind of his comeback role, this really, and put him on the map again as a serious actor. And to top it off, I guess, being the first John Woo gunplay movie, it kind of set the tone for what was to come with Woo, and then changed gunplay in movies
massively
from then. Not necessarily this movie, but what he would do with this film and what he would do with The Killer and Hard Boiled would essentially change action movies.
Yeah, and then have a massive influence in turn on people like Quentin Tarantino and stuff
of course,
that,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, Better Tomorrow, released in 1986, running in at about 1 hour 35 minutes, depending on versions and whatnot. As you said, put Chow Yun Fat massively on the map. I always think it's funny that the studio kind of had reservations about Chow Yun Fat, because he wasn't a traditional action star.
No.
Which is fair play, but as John Woo says, that's exactly why he wanted to cast him.
Yeah.
So, directed by John Woo, starring Chow Yun Fat as Mark, Leslie Chung as as Kit, we'll just say. He's got a full name, but I'll just say Kit.
Yeah.
Lung T as Ho, Emily Chu as Jackie, I butcher this name, Weissley.
I never know how to pronounce his name. It's either, I used to say Wesley, but I'm like, it's not I think it's Weissy.
Weissley, as the titular bad guy, Shing. Feng Tin as Father Sung, and Kenneth Sang as Ken. So, what's it all about?
Well, after a botched meeting/ambush between the Chinese triads and the Taiwanese triads, Sung Si-ho Ti-lung is sent to prison. When released, he must deal with the fallout, including his younger brother and police officer Kit, who blames Ho for the death of their father, his once high-ranking best friend Mark, who is now a crippled lackey, and his former protege Shing, who has since risen through the ranks and is not the meek, mild-mannered man he once was. Cool. Weissly is one of those actors that, like, whenever you see him in anything, you're like, when's he going to turn out to be a massive bastard?
He just has one of them faces where you're like, there's no way he's a good guy.
And I'm sure it's just because of this and Bullet in the Head.
Yeah.
But I have seen him in one other movie where he plays like a cop and he's a good guy, but I'm still just like, I don't buy it.
It would be very off-putting.
Yeah. One thing, because I guess because we haven't done Hong Kong movies in a while, I checked up. I do remember seeing this before and laughing. Guess what it's called in Germany?
Oh God, I dread to think. Go on.
City Wolf.
City Wolf. Nice.
Why?
Like,
why can't you just translate A Better Tomorrow into German?
Yeah.
Why City Wolf?
that is really random. There's no hunting or predator
wolves.
sort of thing.
Yeah,
No
one has a nickname. No one's nickname in the movie is the Wolf.
Maybe it's they are in German. I don't know. Maybe Mark is called the Wolf.
It's Das Wolf.
Quite possibly.
Like, I was curious afterwards. I was like, what's the killer called? It's probably not called. I think it is. I think it's just called the killer.
Yeah, like they couldn't butcher that one, so they just killer.
So where do you want to start with the movie?
Yeah, let's start with I suppose at the start, I always like the gentle start that this movie has.
It's quite chill, isn't it? Yeah, with all the counterfeit and stuff.
Yeah, just like the slow montage with the nice music and stuff. And you kind of get a feel for what's going on. They've got this little criminal empire and stuff. Nice start, like a prelude to the madness and all the gunplay and stuff.
I was watching an interview it's that interview that I think is on one of the DVDs. It's like from like 92, 93. I think it's like Chow Yun-fat's first interview in English he ever did.
Oh, right.
It must have been when Rick Baker brought him over for that like appearance, like that Q&A did. That's on the Eastern Heroes video, because I think it's that one where he says like they really took the time to like work on his mannerisms and like Mark's mannerisms and how he walked and how he held himself and stuff. And that does totally work well when the 3 years pass and he's just a completely different person. Doesn't have his swagger anymore, doesn't smile.
Yeah, because it's really noticeable, isn't it? The first few scenes, like how much of a goof he is. And, like he does a lot of visual things, like he walks past the piano and does a thing with his hands and stuff. And yeah, he's like the Pratt, basically. Enjoying life. And
that bit I always find a bit gross where he like wipes his lips and wipes it on Ti-lung's lips.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
You couldn't do that now with COVID and that.
No, you couldn't. You certainly couldn't. But yeah, I think it makes it more shocking as well. Like, I guess it's hard to look at it through the eyes of watching it for the first time, but the moment when he does just, go for revenge and just blows everyone away, that makes it kind of more shocking because they're kind of set up that he's not that kind of guy. Yeah,
he's not like the stone cold killer.
No, not at all, no.
I always forget that there is actually a time jump in this movie, though. And I think I will say, like, not kind of just rushing to the full stop of it, but I always forget how much I enjoy this movie.
To be honest, I was thinking that when watching, I was like, it's as much as I do think it's a classic and there's certain scenes in it that I always remember, it's not a film I've watched a lot compared to like The Killer and Hard Boiled and stuff.
Yeah,
I've probably even seen Bullet in the Head more than I've seen Better Tomorrow, and that's not an easy watch.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that, though. Yeah, it's like, I think in my head I always think there's a few scenes in the movie I enjoy, but actually the whole movie really is well held together, and there's many scenes that are like, it's not just about the action, it's there's really nice shots in the movie. I think the thread of the movie is really strong. I know that like this is an obvious statement because this is fucking every genre movie, but like the brotherhood thread is like massively there in this movie, and it's like obvious right from the start, and it holds the movie together basically.
Well, that's the good thing about John Woo movies, really. They're not your typical I guess that's why he stood out, because they're not typical action movies. Like, if you strip the action out and all the violence, they're still good stories.
Yeah.
And that's not something you can say for every action movie.
Yeah, and it's like betrayal and intrigue, and you've got the villain who's kind of like he's a friend, but actually he's the bastard, and it's really well told story.
The whole thing's a tragedy, basically, like especially how it ends. Like, I kind of forget how grim the ending is, especially when. Oh, by the way, folks, of course, spoilers.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because I was going to say, I'm assuming there'll be some people who haven't seen this, because I don't know if it's you, if it's the same with you, but I find like no one talks about fucking John Woo anymore. Like, these old movies, they don't seem to be held in the same reverence as they used to be. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But
well, it's if you look on IMDb and stuff, it's like if you look on Chow Yun-fat, for instance, as well. I mean, let's do it live time. Chow Yun-fat, IMDb, known for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, The Replacement Killers, Curse of the Golden Flower, and Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh, fucking hell. Come on, IMDb. I don't know how it works, how they show up there, but fucking someone at IMDb, go and change that shit manually.
Like, come on, just list the killer, fucking... the killer has to be on there, but like Hard Boiled, definitely.
Yeah.
And then probably just Better Tomorrow as well. And then pick your fourth Hollywood movie to slot in there as well.
I mean, who the fuck, like, known for, right? Who the fuck knows Chow Yun-fat from the Dragon Ball movie?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. Most of the time I think about it and go, was he in that movie?
Yes. I sometimes sit and go, there was a Dragon Ball movie.
And the weird pop facts.
But yeah, as I was going to say, like the end when Mark is shot in the fucking back of the head, and then blood just streams down his face. Like, I always remember that's how he dies. But like, it still kind of surprises every time. It's like such a good, especially because I don't think this wasn't the first. It was like Hard Boiled was the first Chow Yun-fat John Woo movie or so. So I guess like when you see this second, you don't expect him to die the first time you watch it. No. You expect him to be the hero.
Yeah. Because I mean, let's have it. Chow Yun-fat isn't really the main character in this movie.
T Lung's the main, the main star.
Yeah, absolutely. It's he's the one that you follow. He's the one you're kind of rooting for the entire movie and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably another element I forget about this movie when I watch it. I'm like,
yeah, it's quite easy to forget, isn't it? Especially because all the re-releases on video, because of the popularity of the other movies, Chow Yun-fat's like front and centre on the DVD covers and the old video covers and stuff. Yeah,
definitely. But yeah, it's always cool to see, like, how almost fully formed immediately Chow Yun-fat was.
Just because of how much work he'd done for like the past 10 years, like doing like 3 TV shows at once and stuff. And then of course after this, what was that one year? Was it 87 when we were doing the end review and we realised he made 12 movies that year? And we're like, how is that even possible?
Just going from set to set.
Yeah, probably shooting like 3 movies at once on like the same day and stuff. Just an insane work ethic.
Getting confused and like reading the wrong lines and stuff.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about Chow Yun-fat is I think he's one of the only Hong Kong actors that ever did this. He would also dub his own voice in Cantonese and Mandarin.
Yeah.
So it's always his voice here. And like in the 80s, you're never hearing Jackie Chan's voice in the Cantonese versions. But it's always Chow Yun-fat's voice. And I'm like, so that's another hours and hours of work on top of that as well.
Yeah, crazy.
Insane. Yeah.
Bless him.
And then there was that story a couple of years ago where he's like, yeah, when I die, I'm leaving my fortune to charity. And I'm like, what a fucking man.
Yeah.
What a man Chow Yun-fat is.
Bless him.
And of course, one of those guys where you ask him, like, oh, it's a great shooting action scenes. He's like, nah, I hate guns.
Like
I'm nothing like me characters.
They're all like hurty and loud.
Yeah.
Just doesn't like them.
Plus the amount of times John Woo was like accidentally almost blowing him up.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in the second one as well. Yeah. But yeah, I really love and again, it's a very typical thing, but the fact that the two brothers going on, the good cop and the bad villain, but the brothers, and I love all that sort of stuff between Kit and Ho.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. I mean, that's the fucked up thing. It has been remade twice. There was a Korean remake in 2010, and there was like a Chinese remake in 2018. Isn't it weird that out of all the John Woo films, this would be the easiest one to adapt for a Hollywood remake, and they never did it?
Yeah, it's like in this world, it's like almost begging for an American remake.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. No one's they've been trying to remake The Killer for like 20-30 years, and apparently that's John Woo's next movie. He's going to do it himself.
God.
But I'm like, Better Tomorrow is just so... It's easy to just take that exact script and just transplant it to America.
Yeah, and just cast a couple big names as the main three characters, probably, and you're away, really.
Instead of triads, it's the mafia. That's it. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. I was thinking that when I was watching it. I think I literally Googled, like, there wasn't an American one, was there? I'm like, no. It's weird.
It's bizarre,
They'd probably make it into a fucking Disney Plus TV show or something now. Stream it over like 12 episodes, and each episode would be boring as fuck. So that's the world we live in.
It certainly is, yeah. It'll be that, or it'll be like a Netflix series, and they would only do half the story, and then it would get cancelled.
Yeah, totally. They would like spread it out over an entire series, and then just get cancelled. They
would spread out like the opening half an hour to a whole season, so it ends with all going to prison, and then it just ends, and everyone's like, "That's the end." That was a bit nothing.
It really would.
But I guess let's talk about the main like point of the film that I'd always just consider the start of modern action, like the scene where he goes to the restaurant for revenge, Giant Fat.
Yeah. Both these movies, really, 1 and 2, they're kind of synonymous with certain scenes, and and this one, I love it. I mean, I don't know, does he do it in another one of his movies? I can't remember quite, but like I love the putting the guns in the plant pots.
Yeah, no, it's just this one.
It is just this one, isn't it? Yeah, it's such a genius idea that.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, it's kind of one of those ideas that, like, is it a little ridiculous? And it's like, yeah, but is it cool? Yeah.
Also, though, it logically makes sense because it means he doesn't have to reload. Yeah. He's just got guns on tap. And it's like, yeah, you would do that. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, totally. So I was just thinking at it from the perspective of, like, he knew, like, it almost seems like he's fucking telepathic and he knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, true.
But no, it's just it's a great, like, insurance. You've got, like, 3 guns ready in case you need them.
And I love the fact that he's doing it. You know, like, I'm assuming he's, like, probably paid a prostitute, maybe. That's maybe my headcanon, but I think
I just always assumed he just started flirting with some, like, probably hostess on the way in.
Yeah. But then, like, so he's kissing this girl. They're kind of frolicking, idly leaning against the wall, and he's using that as a cover so he can put the guns in the plant pot.
Slip a Beretta in the plant pot, as they say.
Really nice. And I really like the fact that when he, when he busts in the door and shoots everyone, and he chucks his guns down, and I like to think that people just burst after him into the hallway because they think he hasn't got guns anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's how he's like able to just grab a gun from the plant pot and spin around, and then like they're totally caught off guard by it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's such a good scene, that, like, really good, and it just shows you like what you're in for with John Woo movies. You know, the creativity that goes into some of the scenes.
Because I think he's always said he's influenced from, like, the use of slow motion was always like Sam Peckinpah movies and stuff. But it's not like you go back and watch a Sam Peckinpah movie and it feels like John Woo, like proto John Woo. Because John Woo would always, like, it's always with his editing that's so good.
Yeah.
He edits a gunfight like a great kung fu fight is edited, like a great Jackie Chan or Sammo Hung fight and stuff. It's like it's got a rhythm to it. It's not just That's why if you watch all the John Woo imitators from, like, after this, they're fun. But they're kind of just mindless shooting with 2 guns, you know what I mean? There's not really any, like, drama to it or anything like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and like I said, that sheer creativity of, like, things that make you think, oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
Like that little bit. You know, like, and we'll get to it, but, you know, like the hard-boiled sliding down the banister thing.
Oh, yeah.
Simple stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, really, really, like, well implemented and, like, clever, whilst also being extremely simple and obvious.
And
it's like mad.
Very, very cool. Whenever I watch Hard Boiled and it gets to that bit, I've always got to watch it again about 4 more times. And then I think, is this my favourite moment ever in a movie? And I think it might be, you know.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Like, I still remember the first time I watched it, because I think I watched Hard Target first, and then I think Hard Boiled was released after Hard Target. So we saw that in the video shop and we're like, oh, let's get that. And that, I remember, like, thinking, what the fuck, the first time I saw the stairway bit. So, I mean, we'll get to it in a couple of weeks.
Blown your mind.
I was absolutely totally blew my mind. I think even then, it, like, I don't know how old I was, 12. I was like, rewind.
No, definitely. So yeah, it's really cool that John Woo has that ability in, like, a good number of his movies to, like, I think even the movies that are a bit ropey, there's still bits where you think, oh wow, that was really mad.
I mean, we should also say as well, because we are kind of missing out a movie just because we kind of wanted to do both first two Better Tomorrow movies. We are missing Once a Thief, which is in the middle of all these. It's like just after Bullet in the Head, which I do like, by the way. We're not leaving that out because we don't like it. I do like that film. I think it's fun.
I think we could probably easily do a second John Woo month, to be honest, and like pick up on like Gotta Gamblers and stuff like that. And
that wasn't John Woo, though.
It's Chow Yun Fat. Sorry, yeah, of course. We'll do a John Woo Chow Yun Fat month.
Oh yeah, well, there's plenty more Chow Yun Fat to do as well, isn't there? Yeah. Yeah, one thing I want to mention, like I love that. I'll talk about the score in a minute, but this, like a lot of Hong Kong movies, has music stolen from other movies, and the music they use at the end when he shoots the final guy, puts the toothpick in his mouth. That piece of music, Birdie's Flight. It's from a movie called Birdie. It's by Peter Gabriel. Generally one of my favourite bits of music ever in a movie, and it's not even in the movie it's supposed to be. Like I'd never want to watch the movie it comes from because I'd just be like, this is the Better Tomorrow music. Like I've said before, but when you watch Red Heat and it's got like, you hear the score from the Killer's score and you're like, it's the Killer's score. I'm sorry, it's not Red Heat's score anymore.
Just spot it straight away.
Yeah,
I think it was Joseph Koo, wasn't it, that did the music in this one. Yeah, I think I've seen his name a few times.
Yeah, that's such an awesome theme. Like the main theme is always referred to. I just call it the Better Tomorrow theme, but it is called Mark's theme. Yeah. Because the main theme is sung by Leslie Chung.
You'll have to have a listen after the show, but this kind of blows my mind. I'm sure Nintendo must have ripped this off. It cannot just be unintentional. The theme tune to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is fucking exactly like...
Really?
It's so stuck in my head because there's only like 2 pieces of music in that bloody game. And like on the menus, during the like missions, the music just plays on loop. And it got to the point where I was like, oh, fucking, I'm starting to get sick of this song. But it's like... It's like exactly the same.
Oh fucking hell!
Like, insane bust. I'll send you the link after. You'll recognise it straight away. It's like that is weird. They're just to the point where, because it's been a couple weeks since I played Smash Brothers, watching this movie and I'm thinking, where do I know that song from again? And then it just immediately came to my head like, oh, it's Smash Brothers. It
wouldn't surprise us, it isn't. Once you first watch this movie, the theme tune will be stuck in your head. It's one of those proper earworms.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the music's very good as well. Yeah.
One thing on the score though that like I hate, and it's the random use of a harmonica at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed it.
No.
Like it's like people are speeding away in a car's high drama, and then like this harmonica comes in and just changes the entire tone of the music. Yeah. You think like fucking Chevy Chase is going to show up or something.
I think that there was a bit where I thought like the music has almost gone a bit like. Last of the Summer Wine or something. I wonder if that was it. Maybe that
I like what you mean. They're like. I like that music.
Yeah, was it not that bit?
No, it's like it's like quite a dramatic piece of music, and then this fucking harmonica bursts in. It changes key for a second. You're like, what the fuck?
It is a bit mental.
It's really weird. I was going to say as well, I wonder if this is like it's just like a trope he likes to use, or it's like he has an annoying nephew. But you notice Wu always loves to use twatty, power-hungry nephews as bad guys.
Basically, yeah.
This and The Killer, this plot is both a nephew fucks him over.
Yeah. Maybe he just had a bad experience. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Maybe he's got a nephew he doesn't like or something. I don't know.
The nephew's watching these movies going... It's like recognising straight away what he's doing.
All right, Uncle John, fuck's sake. I know I was a twat when I was a kid. There's one interesting thing that, like, I remember thinking at the time when I first saw Bullet in the Head, and like double checking this time, I was like, okay, that makes sense. The story that Chow Yun Fat tells about how he had to drink a bottle of whiskey for him, then he had to drink piss.
Oh yeah.
Like that's based on a real story.
Yeah, I saw that between like Sue Hark and
no, it was Chow Yun Fat and Ringo Lam.
Oh, Ringo Lam, that was it. I remember reading that trivia like ages ago about that.
Yeah. But I was like searching for ages the other night. Like I wonder does anyone know the actual story? Is it just like who was making? I'm assuming Ringo Lam drink piss,
like triads or something.
Yeah,
probably.
I'm assuming. Yeah,
or like threatening them with axes or something. God knows.
Because then I remember when I saw Bullet in the Head, and like that scene is in Bullet in the Head almost without the piss.
Yeah, but they definitely. I remember that. Yeah, they kind of do it, don't they? Yeah, recreate it.
Going back into it further, Bullet in the Head was started life as a Better Tomorrow prequel. It was supposed to tell It was supposed to be about them, basically, as young guys.
Yeah, but yeah, I do like that scene though, because obviously it has the very obvious purpose of setting up how close like Mark and Ho are.
Yeah.
And it really pays off later in the movie, because obviously Ho is it? Yeah, it is this film. I'm getting mixed up now, but Ho saves the bad guy's like life, I guess. By like saying, "Oh, I'll take the fall for you. Like you get out of here," and he shoots a gun at him and stuff and chases him off.
Yeah.
And then he gets arrested and he's fucked. And you know, if Shing was like actually a decent person, he would have like, you know, come and saved him somehow or something. But then later in the movie, when he like chases off Mark, and then Mark comes back and like saves him and stuff, it's just kind of like, it's a nice setup and payoff, really.
It is. Yeah.
Of like, you know, he's those two are like blood brothers sort of stuff.
And Shing's just a piece of trash.
It certainly is. It certainly is. The one thing that I thought, don't know if I missed it on this rewatch, but do you know that Shing has sold Ho out during the early stages of the movie? Or
no,
do
I
you
don't
just
think
find
so.
out later on when he literally says it?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it just that? Yeah, because I sort of made note of that and thought, oh, I wonder, did I just miss that line?
Yeah.
Because that's a cool twist as well, that he's like the ultimate bastard that sent Ho away to prison for 3 years and stuff.
I'm sure it's on purpose. Like how at the end, during the final battle, Shing is essentially wearing the same outfit that Ho was wearing when he got arrested.
Yeah.
He's like he's trying to be him almost,
Basically.
but it goes completely tits up for him and he gets shot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I kind of got that as well, because it's such an obvious like outfit and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either that, or maybe I suppose it's probably a very typical Hong Kong gang boss bad guy outfit.
Probably a big bad guy outfit. Yeah.
Big brother sort of outfit.
I mean, Chow Yun-fat essentially wears the same suit at the end of The Killer. That white suit. Yeah. And plus it looks good in a John Woo movie. You can see the blood better.
Yeah. Well, that is a funny thing, obviously, that we've talked about this before. Like, maybe it's not on the show, but the fact that, you know, during the shootout scene early in the movie where he goes and kills everyone, like everyone's wearing light colours,
like light pastel blues and yellows and stuff, so you can proper see the blood.
Yeah, so good. Where normally traditionally villains would be like black clad and stuff.
Yeah,
none of these guys are all in white.
It's like that bit. I think it's the bit we always used to laugh at the most. Not like in a shitty way, just because it's just kind of funny. Like you can almost tell what the thought process was. That scene in The Killer where like 50 guys in white tracksuits turn up.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I know what's coming.
Someone's getting shot to bits.
I suppose a hardcore purist would be like, well, actually, white is quite an unlucky colour in Chinese culture.
Colour of death. Yeah.
But like, I don't think it's as deep as that. I think they just wanted all the blood to be on show.
It works on two levels.
I guess.
Everyone wearing white is dying. So yeah, I guess that's kind of... Do you have any specific highlights?
So when the time jump happens and Ho gets his job as a taxi driver and stuff, I really, really love the bit when he sees Mark and he's like, you know, down on his luck, down on the skids, living in a car park, basically, like sleeping under the car park, under the building. I guess.
There's almost a whole fucking story there. It could be a movie of how he ended up that bad, like that worse off. Yeah,
well, these obviously his knackered leg from being shot twice in the leg.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, like I both love and hate the sound effect that's used when he gets like shot in the shin, and you can actually hear the bone break.
Yeah, and just the way it goes through his leg. Like the squibs on both sides, it's really well done.
And the like pooling of blood under his foot every time he moves it.
When he's dragging it along.
It's really gross. Like in a good way though. It's like really effective.
And it makes you think like you would be fucked. You wouldn't be able to walk for the rest of your life properly with it. So he has like this mad metal brace on. But yeah, he's like cleaning the bad guy's car, Shing's car, for like scraps basically, and
he just chucks money on the floor from
like utter bastard move. And so then the scene that I really love in this moment is when obviously Ho goes and says like hello, you're like fuck, I'm back and stuff. Chow Yun-fat's acting's like amazing in that scene. Amazing. Just his chin's wobbling and stuff. You can see the grief on his face better than any like acting in like Hollywood and stuff, I would say. Just in that moment it's like fucking hell, what a powerful performance. Crazy.
I mean everyone I think acts their arse off in the movie. Like especially the scenes between Leslie Cheung and T. Leung, like in a different film, and also in a different Hong Kong film, they could have come across as super melodramatic and cheesy, and they don't here at all. It feels really natural.
Yeah, really good. And, I will get to it, but with the second one, I feel like sometimes they go out the way to try and recreate that sometimes, and it doesn't quite work.
We'll get to the second.
So I feel like that is one of the standout bits. Basically, it's look at the acting, basically. Yeah. It's kind of like my highlight of this movie in many ways. It's not so much the gunplay, although it is a massive part of the movie, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But it's some of the really powerful acting that makes it like, fucking hell,
I think people, this will surprise people who haven't seen it before, that it's not wall-to-wall action. It's essentially a drama with some action scenes in it.
Yeah, you've kind of got one or two big action scenes. Well, no, so 2 or 3, let's say.
Yeah,
like peppered through the movie. But obviously I really like the bit when Mark goes to like the bad guy's base, for want of a better word, and his plan is to like get a tape, like a big tape.
Yeah, the tape with all the money laundering evidence on it, basically. Yeah.
But then he's pinned down by the bad guys who are shooting at him, and he uses that little water cart thing.
Oh yeah, that's very cool.
It's just total John Woo mode, basically.
You get a nice bit of brutality where he like shoots the guy who's jumping, and he like falls on top of the car, then his head smashes through the window.
Yeah, which I feel also gets done in maybe's Hard Boiled. I feel like I've seen that thing happen in another.
There's quite a few moments in Hard Boiled where people get shot and their head goes through a window.
Yeah, maybe it's like the bit when he goes to like a scrap merchant place, so I can't quite remember what the mechanic's yard or something.
Yeah. I was just going to say performances, like all round. Mm-hmm. I forgot like just how well acted it actually is, and that it is just a great, like I said, take all the gunplay out, it's still an awesome drama. Yeah,
definitely. And, some of the subplotty stuff going on, like how the dad dies because of like Ho's shady activities, and that's like the catalyst for the rift between the two brothers and stuff.
Yeah, it's not like I don't blame Leslie Chung's character for being mad. That's kind of his brother's fucking way of life basically got the dad killed, like brutally killed.
Yeah, stabbed up. That scene as well, I always think is really brutal. Where the Jackie character, Emily Chu, where she kind of, I think at first she's going to stab the guy, but then she like chickens it out of it. But then when she sees how bad things really are, and I think the dad's like gets stabbed or something at that point, and then she picks up the knife and like runs at him and just stabs the guy in the back. There's something about it. It's like, that's brutal. But he's like, it's like right in his back.
Yeah, it does just go from like bad to worse in that. So they just almost gets comedic where the dad comes out the kitchen with like a hot pot and just chucks it at the guy's face.
Yeah, and Kit gets his arse handed to him basically.
He does.
You get like, doesn't he get like wrestling moves on him? Like the bad guy gets him up on his shoulders and throws him through a table or something.
He's about to give him a fucking like Death Valley Driver and stuff.
Pretty crazy scene.
Yeah. Poor kid in both movies just gets the shit pummeled out of him basically for like both movies. Like, how is he still alive by the middle of the second movie?
He gets shot twice in the same arm in the course of this movie.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, how's he still got a shoulder?
Or was it the second one? Maybe the second one they get shot twice.
He gets shot fucking in the second one.
Yeah. I've forgotten which one, but in both movies.
He's just in and out of hospital constantly.
He's got like a premier pass or something. He's got like a room reserved for him.
He's got the VIP pass for the hospital. But yeah, the highlights I've already said, the score, the restaurant shootout. It's just a really fucking solid movie. You can totally, looking back now, you can see why, it gave everyone in the movie a career. It gave Chow Yun-fat a massive movie career, and John Woo.
Yeah.
Also, we've got to say as well, like, Choi Hark, producer as well, is a big part of the movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, put him on the map massively as well. I love the fact that loads of kids in Hong Kong started wearing like the outfit basically.
You can see why.
I think the dusters, those coats, they like you couldn't get them basically. It was like a certain toy at Christmas that just sells out everywhere basically. So you couldn't get dusters for love nor money all over Hong Kong. And the style of glasses as well, they were like selling out like hotcakes wherever they were basically. Kind of funny.
It's just funny as well that like he only looks like that for the first 20 minutes, half an hour of the movie as well. It's just made such an impact on people.
It really sticks, yeah.
And it helps it's Chow Yun-fat, who is, I've said before, probably the coolest guy on the planet. So.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like it's mad to see how fully transformed he is. It's like it's just action star Chow Yun-fat immediately.
Yeah. And it's not a thing of like thinking about like Hardboiled the Killer. Just if you just switch your mind to just this film, you're like, nah, it's just, you can see what everyone else saw.
Yeah, straight away, yeah.
Do you have any criticisms at all?
Just minor things, like goofy things. I won't hold it against the movie because it's you have to suspend your disbelief. But the one thing that I made note of is like, where did Mark and Ho get machine guns from at the end?
I don't know.
Because like Mark's supposed to be this down and out guy, and Ho's turned his life around, or he's trying to, and he's been a taxi driver, but yet at the end they just turn up inexplicably with machine guns.
He's probably still got access to the old Triad hideout,
Well, maybe they just went and stole them somewhere.
Snuck in, went under Shing's bed, nicked his machine gun.
So yeah, and then linked to the machine gun, I just thought it was funny how, because it's an Uzi, I think he's got, like Mark at the end. And it's just that classic like daft thing where you must fire like 300 rounds before he reloads. He unloads on the cars, he turns around and shoots the boat, and it's like, come on. But
it's one of those things as well. Like, I think Uzis are notorious for like you can empty a clip in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, like they've got a really high fire rate.
Yeah, so like that's always ridiculous in movies where people can shoot an Uzi 5 minutes. But in a John Woo movie, everyone's on God mode, infinite ammo.
So you cannot hold against the movie.
Nah.
You get too much in the way. The only, I suppose, proper criticism story-wise that I would say is the real missed opportunity when. I think it's when like Kit and Ho like finally see each other. No, I think it's when he's eating birthday cake maybe, and he comes in, and Kit says like, "Do you realise I didn't get a promotion because of you?" It's just like, well, and the dad thing. Like, come on, mention the dad thing.
Yeah,
but it's I guess it kind of because it was one of the previous scenes where he doesn't get a promotion because of him. But I just felt like he really should have just went straight to the dad thing. Yeah. Rather than that. But other than that, I don't know.
No, there's not that much really, is there?
No, it's a really solid movie.
It's not overly long, it doesn't outstay its welcome, it's paced really well.
Yeah.
My only criticism, and this has nothing to do with the film, it's to do with like how it's presented currently, because like I don't know which version you watch, but like most versions you get now have all the gun sound effects redubbed with modernized shitty gun sound effects.
Yeah, actually that is true. I noticed that some of the gunshot sounds were a bit strange. Yeah.
And I'm sure they only do that so they can have like a 5.1 mix on the Blu-ray or something on something, but it's just annoying, especially when there isn't an option to watch with the original dialogue track. Like if you want that old version, you've just got to find an old DVD.
That's bastard, that, isn't it? Yeah, I wish they wouldn't mess with films like that.
Like fucking like things like messing with colour timing in movies is bad enough, but when people mess with the sound effects, I'm like, you're changing the movie. It's almost not like watching. It's like you're not even watching the same movie in certain times because sometimes they get the rhythm wrong of like the gunshots, and especially when you've seen a film a lot, you're like, what? Something's wrong. And you're like, oh yeah, it's because the gun sound effects are now like.
Yeah, like really weird, like flat sounding and
cap guns. That's what they sound like. Yeah, because they're never like remixed by actual professional guy who does sound for movies. It'll just be some guy like in a Blu-ray company just whacking on new sound. I'm assuming.
Yeah, just getting them from like a soundboard or whatever.
Yeah,
it's another one of them films where it has had some releases over the years, but I don't feel it's had a ton of love.
No, well, it had like a few DVD releases over here in like the late 90s and stuff. Because it had like a bunch of video releases. You had like the MIA one, which is just that old, like I said, it's actually got the original sound effect track on it. But as for Blu-ray, I mean, you had 2 Blu-ray releases in Hong Kong by a company called Cameron Ronson, and the latest one that came out in 2016, and it's still a Blu-ray, but it's a 4K remastered from a 4K scan, and it has English subs. And there's also a mainland Chinese release, but it's got more extras, but it's not the 4K remastered transfer. And as for US and UK, nothing.
Yeah, which is mental. Yeah.
It's insane. Like, there's apparently some legal thing of who owns the rights once the. I saw there's the only other thing concrete, which I don't know because it's all just hearsay. But there's a thread on Reddit that says, I think it says some like whoever owns the rights isn't even like into. They somehow acquired the rights. Maybe it was something else, and they're not even a film distributing company, and they're not interested in dealing with the licenses.
So make fucking garden sheds or something.
Yeah, something like that. It's like a real estate company owns the. Someone said, I don't know if it's true, but someone said like a real estate company owns the licenses, and they're not bothered about dealing with like film rights. I'm like, what do you fucking own them for? Sell them?
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it's a shame though. Like everything, the only ones you've had like in the US and UK, well, just US actually. Dragon Dynasty released The Killer and Hard Boiled, and I'm pretty sure, from what people say, they were just upscale DVDs. They weren't actually new transfers or anything for Blu-ray. So
it's what is ridiculous. Obviously, it just forces people to pirate basically because you've got no other alternative. Like you certainly can't watch it legally, like digitally. I think. I
don't even think there's a place to rent the movies.
Yeah, because I think I did look. I don't know if Apple TV's suggestion came up as a rental thing, but I'm not sure. I think that might have been a mistake on the. I used Just Watch to try and find it and stuff.
Yeah.
There's no proper way of watching it, so your hand is forced to just get a copy on something.
Yeah. If the only copy of the movie you have is the DVD and you were tempted to just chuck it out or try and don't, because who the hell knows when it's coming out on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
just keep waiting. Keep waiting every time Eureka 88 or Arrow do their announcements, and I'm like, come on, John Woo box set.
Yeah, it's begging for it basically.
It certainly is. The reason for A Better Tomorrow 2, I watched an interview with Choi Hark that you can find on YouTube. Basically, Dean Sheck, who's in the movie, was one of the 3 owners of Cinema City, the studio they all worked for. He had some kind of falling out with the other 2 and went to America. I guess for business reasons, or he just moved there, I don't know. So then John Woo and Choi Hark were like, well, that sucks, we need him back. So they pretty much came up with the idea of a sequel to Better Tomorrow that he would be the star of to get him back to Hong Kong. That's the only real reason the movie. And I'm sure at Cinema City were like, yeah, you want to do a sequel to Better Tomorrow? That was a huge hit.
Yeah, money.
But at the end of the day, it was, according to Choi Hark, it was pretty much to get Dean Sheck back to Hong Kong.
That's mental.
I know.
Yeah.
And then once they shot the movie, like, what is it? Woo's original cut was almost 3 hours long.
Yeah.
So there's an hour missing technically out of the movie.
Yeah, like, fuck the Snyder cut. Where's the 3 hour?
Where's the Woo cut? Yeah. So then John Woo and Choi Hark were arguing over the edit of which direction it should concentrate more on, and then eventually they couldn't settle it, so they gave the film to an outside editor. And then that's the film we've got now. And Woo said when he saw the movie in the theatre for the first time, he was so disappointed. And he's pretty much disowned it now, except the finale.
Yeah, which makes sense.
So yeah, if you've ever watched the movie and thought, it's a bit all over the place, that's why. So, A Better Tomorrow 2 was released the following year, 1987. Runs for 1 hour 45 minutes. Is directed by John Woo, once again, produced by Choi Hark. Stars Tia Leung as Ho, Dean Sheck as Lung, Chow Yun-fat as Ken, his brother. Leslie Chung as Kit, Kwan Sang as Ko, Kenneth Sang as Ken, and Emily Chu as Jackie. So what's the story?
Well, strap yourself in. Years after the events of the first film, Kit is deep undercover trying to stop, like, a crime gang from doing stuff that involves counterfeit money.
Again.
Yeah. Ho finds out that Kit is cheating on Jackie, seemingly, so he agrees to come out of jail to help Interpol, but really it's just to stop Kit from cheating on Jackie. Anyway, an old friend of Ho's, called Lung, gets framed for a murder, so he has to flee the country. Kit promises to protect Lung's daughter, Peggy, but he doesn't. She dies. Spoiler. Somehow, Lung ends up under the care of Mark's exact twin brother, Ken, who runs a restaurant in New York. Ken is having trouble with the mafia, I think, but he ends up murdering them all, so it's alright, that works out, after helping Lung come out of his grief-stricken psychosis. So he and Lung return to Hong Kong to kick some ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's kind of it. Couldn't really
you did well. You did well. You did as well. That's why I was like, I'm doing the first one.
I mean, I missed a lot of elements out, which is mental.
Yeah.
Jackie being pregnant and things.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I think if you were to ask me where should we start, let's start with Mark's brother.
Yeah. Like we always joke about. I think it's more of a cliche than it is because we always joke about it with sequels. We always just say, "I can be his twin brother," but like. Is this the first time a movie did the his brother, like, to get the same actor back? Which, think about it though, what are other examples of that? The only one that was springing to mind was fucking Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah, probably. It's probably
where they just need the character or the actor back, so they're like, it's his brother.
Is it like a Van Damme film that does it?
Well, just double impact, but he's like, it's both. It's the same
movie.
Same movie. Yeah.
Maybe we've just overranked this gimmick.
There is that movie Maximum Risk that coincidentally did with Ringo Lam. Yeah. That's the one where his brother dies and he plays the other brother. Maybe
the first idea on the table was he survived. An ambulance like pulled up at the end of the first movie and he didn't see it.
People have survived gunshots to the head before.
And then they just decided not to do that.
Maybe that could have been the impetus for Bullet in the Head.
yeah, totally. They're like, we'll shelve that idea. But
he was just sitting around one night fuming, thinking about Better Tomorrow 2, and was just like, fuck, I should have kept him alive. Get a bullet in his head. But yeah, it's very silly, but you can't, there's no way that we're going to do a Better Tomorrow sequel without Chow Yun-fat. So they had to think of some ridiculous way that, like, you've got to just assume that they mentioned him at some point in the first movie. We just didn't hear about it.
Yeah. Well, he lived in America. That's why you didn't hear about it.
And he hasn't seen him for years, so he wouldn't come up in conversation that much.
He went over to be a chef, and who also is extremely good with guns. Don't know why. Maybe it's needed being a chef. You've got to also be good with guns.
It's just in their blood, in that family, the Lee family. They're just born knowing how to shoot. But I do love that all the scenes they were genuinely shot in New York. All that stuff. I like. Yeah. There's something about, like, John Woo and Chow Yun-fat shooting an action scene in 80s New York, which is cool.
Yeah, it's pretty mad, isn't it? It's one of them things where, because I think I had only seen Better Tomorrow 2 like once properly. I've seen the ending a few times.
Oh yeah,
like in isolation.
Yeah.
But the movie itself, I've maybe only seen once. And when you first cut to Chow Yun-fat in like America in speech marks, I think I made the initial note of, he's in America, but it's kind of convenient that he works in a Chinese restaurant and there's lots of just Chinese people that frequent. So I was going to make the joke of it's plainly just filmed in China, or Hong Kong. But then I was like, oh no, actually, it is filmed in New York. So fair play to them.
Yeah, I think literally everything in New York was filmed in New York. I don't think it's any Hong Kong sector.
Yeah. So fair play.
Yeah,
but I do love when the Americans turn up.
Oh yeah,
literally in that scene.
They've got those great. They didn't realise what kind of performance these dubbing artists were given.
No, because fucking this rice is fucking shit.
I fucking cracked up when I forgot how funny that. Like I've always remembered that scene of Chow Yun-fat with the rice and stuff, but just the way it just cuts that guy and he just screams, "This fried rice fucking stinks." And I was like, Jesus, that's a bit brutal.
Yeah, right, mafia guys, I guess they're supposed to be.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the mob. Yeah,
I don't know if it's just Chow Yun-fat's broken English accent, but I was like, is he doing a bit of a Brando?
That's what I always think as well. Yeah, like maybe he's trying to like Americanize his accent a little bit, because now and then it's like, you don't like my rice. Like, yeah, maybe he's doing a bit of a Brando. Yeah,
like riffing on the whole "it's the mafia." I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I'm always thinking two minds. Like, is it Chow Yun-fat just doing that to sound more American, or is he taking the piss out the mafia guy? I don't know. Either way, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it works.
That whole scene's quite funny. Yeah,
I mean, the fact that he scoops up the rice from the floor and makes him eat it at gunpoint.
Yeah, and then I love the way the cop comes in and just like he's like, "All right, put the gun down, Ken." And he's like, "Nah, he's just eat the rice first." He's like, "Better eat it."
He's not joking.
No, he's not good.
Yeah. But then he just gets off with it, obviously. Like, he's literally just shot a man. Like, didn't he shoot him in the leg or something?
He shoots the other guy in the leg.
But it's 80s New York.
Yeah, it was crazy.
We'll put it down to that.
Yeah. But yeah, what about most of the film is just Dean Sheck trying to win a Best Actor awards?
Yeah, I love the idea and the character, and I love some of the execution of it, but it's just very out of place. It's a hat on a hat in this movie. Like, you've got enough drama between Ho and Kit, and then the shoehorned Ken character into it.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of didn't need the Lung character as well.
No, but he kind of has to be in it because
Yeah.
of why they're making it. It's
Yeah.
like that's what Woo and Choi Hog were arguing about. John Woo wanted to concentrate on, like you said, the whole kid storyline, whereas Choi Hog wanted more of the Dean Check stuff.
Yeah.
So this is the compromise, I guess,
It's like it
from the outside.
definitely should have been two separate films,
Yeah.
basically. Because I said in theory, I like it, and his performance, it's like makes us think of Jackie Chan in like Police Story 4, whatever, the modern, where he's like drunk off his face.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very similar. There's a scene where Dean Check's like drooling on the floor and stuff, like delirious and like proper going for it.
I do think it's slightly too melodramatic for me. Like I was saying before about the first film, how it almost feels like it could be melodramatic. Whereas this is very, like, the bit where he's feeding him the fucking orange and stuff.
Yes, yeah,
it's very cheesy.
Yeah, it gets well over the top. It's like,
It does.
because I think in my notes I just wrote it like cuts to Chow Yun-fat trying to force feed like the Lung character like bits of chicken and milk and then oranges.
Tell you what, that breakfast he makes him, fuck me.
Oh no, the food looks amazing,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like he's got like sausage, or like kind of looks like hot dogs, like hot dogs, fried eggs, a fucking massive chicken thigh, steak. Yeah.
And the stuff on the table later on as well looks amazing. It's a crime that he starts throwing it out the window.
I know.
I'm like, no.
Yeah, don't watch this hungry because them bits fucking hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's not. It's one of, and I don't mean to like sound, because we love Dean Check just from Drunken Masters, you know.
Yeah, great actor and stuff. You're right though. It does kind of stretch the limits a little bit, and that's what I was referring to. Where I think they kind of saw how popular some of the scenes were in the first one, and they were like, want to do that again, but ramp it up and bigger and better, and it's just too much.
And it's like the first one was just right as far as the drama goes. It gets really dramatic, but it doesn't go past the point where you're like, oh, here we go, it's kind of like a soap opera now, but as this kind of does.
And like the whole Peggy stuff and that doesn't work. It's like weird. The daughter, his daughter, so there's like shades of Police Story where Kit has to take the girl into like protective custody, takes her home, and then like the real girlfriend's there, and there's like, oh, you cheating on me sort of thing. But then just immediately she gets killed.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's like, because like I'm assuming even if John Woo got his way, the finished film would not have been 3 hours long or 2 hours, 160 minutes, I think it said. But it still would have been longer, because there's just points where you can tell what this massive chunk's missing, how quickly this story moves from one beat to the other, and that's a prime example I was thinking of. Like, he's like, oh, I'm an undercover cop, the next scene she gets shot, and then Kit's like, oh my god, she's dead. It's so quick.
And then pretty much the next scene, like obviously after the Lung character Dean Check, so like his mate gets killed, and then he's like a gibbering wreck, and you're like, is it because his friend got killed? But then he's clutching a photo of his daughter, and you're like, oh no, so he knows his daughter's dead.
Yeah,
but you never see that.
I kept thinking, was I making a note when he found out? I'm sure.
No.
Did we miss something?
It just skips straight over that. He just finds out off camera, basically.
Like, it's obviously, then there'd be there's probably a scene where he does find out, and that's supposed to be like a week later or something like that.
Yeah, and
maybe.
that's what tips him over the edge, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just like fucking weird. The little girl, he clutches a little girl that's been shot, and he runs down the lane with her in his hands and stuff. You never see that little girl again. It never plays into it or anything.
And the sad thing is as well, like, considering how I doubt there was a fucking vault at Cinema City where they kept all this cut footage. That's gone forever. We're never going to see it. So
definitely. Yeah, shame.
It is a shame. But I guess, like, the last 15 minutes is insane, and it's some of John Woo's best stuff, and it's amazing the leap from Better Tomorrow, like, style-wise. This is like John Woo, you know what I mean? Like, as far as it's insane, like, excessive gunfights and stuff.
Yeah, I think, it's very much a film about the end, basically, isn't it? I suppose that, just to rewind it a little bit, there is also like a little starter sample of the ending where he's obviously got the Lung character like holed up in like a hotel or something. Yeah,
that I was going to say, that's a highlight. That's the first like huge John Woo, very John Woo.
Suddenly goes John Woo, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because because I suppose we're tipping into highlights, so we'll just do highlights, I guess, first. So obviously he's he's pissed off because his restaurant gets blowed up.
Gets blown to bits.
The mafia like follow through on the threat that if they don't pay them money to protection money, they'll blow it up, and so they do. So he's at the hotel. He's pissed off. He's got a fucking massive combat shotgun, and loads of bullets and ammunition. And I just love give me Chow Yun-fat with a shotgun, and I'm happy.
Basically,
So it's really good. He like. There's a bit where somebody comes to the door and what does he say, like "fuck you" or something, or and he just shoots the guy, and it just looks like it minces him.
Oh, it does. Yeah, the squib work in this film's amazing.
So it's really good. And then there's just a really cool bit where he slides on his back down the stairs. It's two Berettas.
It's the proto hard-boiled moment, basically. And he's kind of dressed the same as he is in the start hard-boiled as well. Yeah.
I think I actually, I put in my notes that basically for the end part of the movie, Chow Yun-fat just turns into tequila, basically.
Yeah,
he's
pretty
no
much.
longer Ken. He's just tequila for the end of the movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
like you have to keep reminding yourself, isn't he like a chef? But no.
Who assumedly hasn't done any of this shit for years. 15 years he's been in America being a chef, but it's like riding a bike. You never forget how to stylistically blow someone away with two guns. But yeah, it's probably worth noting as well, like, that I'm not saying this is the reason for the change in action. Obviously, John Woo's just learnt more things through Better Tomorrow and stuff, but like, this has the action director in Hong Kong is very loose. I think when you see that, you think, so he did all the action scenes, like Ching Siu Tung, the action director who did like Duel to the Death, and I think he did. It was either it's not Chinese Ghost Story. He directed Chinese Ghost Story. Yeah. So I think like that, like essentially, I think in a John Woo movie, the action director is the stunt coordinator. And you can definitely tell, like, obviously the scale is much bigger compared to the first movie. And I think he maybe did The Killer as well.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, that like, there's some insane like pyrotechnics and just like even just the brief fight you get with T Lung, with the guy with the axe and the samurai sword and stuff. Yeah. That kind of seems out of place, but it's so cool.
That guy as well. Just to call out that he's just in both movies.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, is he the same character?
Yeah, like, I think he's credited as like Shing's right hand man in the first one, and then he's credited as. Shing in the first one, and then this one it's like Ko's like right hand man or something.
Because I was keeping an eye out in the first movie, because you do see him get shot.
Yeah.
But just like in the side or something. So I'm like, is he just playing the same guy?
Maybe.
I'm guessing he is.
Maybe. Just didn't die.
Because he's one of those actors. I can't remember his name. His nickname is, what is it? Big Stupid Head or something.
Yeah, it's like one of them weird translation things.
Yeah.
Fu On Ching. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation.
Because he's the bad guy in The Killer, as we'll get to next week. Yeah. Once again, another twatty nephew.
Classic.
But yeah, there's so many fucking moments though in that last 15 minutes, and it is pretty much a constant 15 minutes of just explosions and gunfire and people getting shot, and it's so fucking excessive and amazing.
Samurai swords, and
I can see why John Woo would watch the movie and go, I love this bit. I'm proud of this bit.
Yeah, it's really well done, and like by the end there's just blood up the walls and all that. That's so good. We should probably talk about it now. The explosion as well.
Oh yeah, because one of those cases where John Woo nearly killed Chow Yun-fat.
He's like, I think it's grenade. Yeah, he pulls the pin out, throws it, does a cricket ball throw or something into the front door, and then slowly walks off like a badass, and it just fucking the house just goes up.
It looks like they just had like gallons and gallons of gasoline in that house.
He used far too much explosives or something. Yeah,
and then you just see the look on Chow Yun-fat's face, like basically go, "What the fuck?" As the back of his head goes on fire, pretty much.
And I love that. That's the actual reaction to this. They just kept it the film like, what?
Yeah, because I guess they were like, well, we can't do it again.
It's so.
And then of course they added a little bit, I guess, afterwards where he wafting the smoke off himself and stuff, a little comedy moment, which is fun.
Yeah, because he even says something like, "Oh, he must still be mad because he's used too much explosives." Or something. There's a line that kind of nods.
Yeah, there is an odd line there, isn't there?
Yeah, and he's supposed to be talking about the fact Lungs provided him with the grenades or something, but it's blatantly a nod to John Woo.
Yeah, he's had a few injuries over the years, bless him. I think that's probably the one he probably came the closest to
to dying.
It's very close, yeah. Because I'm assuming the shot was supposed to be he stands there and it blows up behind him because it's in slow motion, the shot as well. So you get every ounce of shock on his face when it happens. So it was supposed to be a cool shot and ends up just being like kind of cooler, I think.
There's a shot earlier in the movie actually that's almost similar where. But you know, I think it happens as intended. Where when the restaurant blows up, like the Chinese restaurant, and there's a guy like outside, like walking past, and the door like kind of flies into him, and it's like, oh my god, that's like a crazy stunt.
Yeah, I wonder if that was intentional, just a happy accident. Yeah.
It looked really good though. So the pyrotechnics in this movie are very good. Well, very good, but not very safe.
No. Did you notice the guy from? The cult leader guy from Armor of God is like the American bad guy.
Oh no, really?
Yeah. I was looking, I'm going, I know him from something. He's got a very particular look, and I looked it up, and he's the cult leader from Armor of God. He's the guy that Chow Yun-fat shoots when he comes in and goes, no, sorry.
Yeah, that's a good bit. That
yeah, that's so good. Yeah, it's quite sadistic.
Yeah, he's not fucking around at that point.
He's not.
No. Yeah.
Just some guy who's like half his entire body has like 3rd-degree burns and pulls up a gun slow, and he's like, nah, shoots him.
Yeah, this movie doesn't mess around. I mean, there's numerous bits. There's one bit where Kit, he comes back. He's on the boat basically, and he like I think he jumps on the boat and shoots somebody. And I think I just made note of like apparently Kit's got license to kill basically. Like, he's supposed to be a cop, but he's just brutally killing people at point blank.
Yeah, the same way he's like proven himself to like. Get in with the gang. Yeah, he's just shooting people, like blowing people away and stuff. I'm assuming, you know, in this movie's universe, if you're an undercover cop, you do whatever the fuck you want.
Just take drugs, get hookers, shoot people, execute them. It's all fair.
Because going back to what we were talking about earlier, that fucking scene where like the stoic henchman, who also is a highlight of mine, the stoic henchman for the bad guy, just stots his head off the car like full force about 8 times. I'm like, they just actually do that.
It looks very real. Yeah, it does look very real. Yeah.
Leslie Chung just goes limp and just lets him smash his face into a car for like 5 minutes.
But he had no choice, basically. Yeah, that guy is cool. Ming, just having a look on IMDb, Ming Yan Lung. I thought he plays a really good part. And again, like, you can see the DNA in, like... So the bad guy in Hard Boiled.
I was gonna say Mad Dog. Yeah,
he's kind of got like he's got a code of honor. So
like that bit where he just leaves the money at the end.
Yeah, and obviously he has the shootout with Chow Yun-fat where Chow Yun-fat runs out of bullets.
Oh, that's an amazing scene.
Yeah. So he like puts the gun on the floor and kicks it towards him. It's like
so they can have just a standoff basically. Yeah, it's so cool.
Really good. Yeah.
I love that shot where they're like back to back and then they just turn around and start firing.
I love the bit when same character when he's in the basement of Co's mansion and he obviously shoots Kit as well. Like that's a really mad scene where it's all like shadowy and stuff. It's the camera angle and you see like the trace round like flying towards like Kit. It's like, God, that looks mad.
Yeah, it's a really nice scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always thought John Woo has a knack for that. You can tell he like does things and likes them, but then wants to better them in the next movie. Almost, you like see bits of like the last movie in the next movie. Yeah. How like in like Hard Target, there's guys going around on motorbikes, like just like in Hard Boiled and stuff.
Yeah,
this the same gun that like Mad Dog uses is the same gun Lance Henriksen uses.
Yeah,
and stuff like
that. Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you know, like the shotgun stuff in this probably like had a bearing, and they're like, oh, let's do shotguns more. In the next films.
But yeah, the whole finale is like it's worth. I mean, I'm not saying the film's awful. It's just it's a classic dodgy sequel basically. But we're just like that last 15 minutes is so worth the wait.
It is like the movie loses you probably. I would say it loses most people at about the 1 hour 40 mark. I would say, sorry, the 1 hour 20 mark. I would say easily. It just gets to the point where you're like, fucking hell, like what's going on? Like who's why?
Especially when you're rewatching it again for the first time in a while and you know what's coming. And you're like, just get to the fucking
get to the end, get to the killing,
get all the killing, please, John.
But it's a film that is. Yeah, worth watching really for the end more than anything, I would say. And it's a famous clip. Like, as soon as the walk up to the house, it's like my brain suddenly clicked into like I recognise this now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've just watched that bit so many times.
As soon as the theme kicks in and Chow Yun-fat appears with a shotgun and blows that guy across the garden. it's a very good finale. One of his best ones, I think.
Yeah, just for pure mental action and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. As for highlights, I mean, like I said, everyone's good. I don't quite think T. Lung and Chow Yun-fat reached the heights they do in the first movie as far as like dramatic moments go. Like I said, shout out to the Lung Ming Yan, the stoic henchman assassin. I don't think, maybe he just looks different in the movies, but I don't recognise him from anything else. I don't think he's in any of the John Woo movies.
He's in Skinny Tiger, Fatty Dragon. I know.
Is he? Okay, I haven't seen that for years. I'll have to rewatch it.
So I can't quite remember his role, but it's listed as like one of the films he's known for. So maybe he's quite a big role in it. Yeah, but yeah, his IMDb isn't massive. To be fair,
that's a shame.
No.
I figured he'd be one of those guys, like career bad guys. He's got such a good look.
Yeah.
It's like an unassuming look, but he looks evil. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, in fact, I mean, it could just be IMDb's dodgy information, but he's only listed as being in films until 92.
Oh, maybe he retired.
Yeah.
Became a businessman or something like that.
Yeah, weird.
Any more highlights for you, apart from just, great action?
The meme. I suppose should shout out the meme. This is the movie where he like leans backwards chewing Chow Yun-fat.
So it is. Shit, I must have missed it. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I always think like in the back of my head, I think it's from. I always think Hard Boiled, but it's not. It's this.
I always think it's from friggin' Tiger on the Beat. Because he's quite like light-hearted and jovial. It's a big comedy, and I always think it's from that until I watch it and go, oh no, it's not.
No, it's this one, because it's literally the planning the whole like, we're gonna go and fuck Co's like operation up, and he's eating an apple, and that's and then that's when he leans back, he's like chewing, and it's like fuck it hell.
It's the problem making notes when you're watching movies for the show. Like I just miss little things like that.
Yeah, looking up and down. Yeah. So yeah, that's cool seeing that. But yeah, I think we've covered the other ones, like the sliding on his back and all of the end bit.
Yeah, just all the inventive, crazy stuff from the last 15 minutes, And I guess, we've kind of went over criticisms as we've been reviewing it.
Just have a look at me.
Just to sum up, I just think the movie's a mess, but it's not anyone's fault. It's just the fact that the editing problems, basically, so it makes the story quite muddled at times. Things just happen out of nowhere, like you said. The daughter just being shot 2 minutes, after she's supposed to be being looked after by the police,
and then he goes mad, and it's just like,
you notice that when Peggy's talking to the basically the trader, she seems like doped up or like out of it. Like there's something missing there as well.
Yeah, something's just been totally hacked out of the movie.
Yeah,
I really dislike certain elements. Like I think the emotional weight of Ho getting out of jail just isn't addressed. He's like, I'll help you, Interpol, and then bang, the next scene he's like in a tux, and he's like somewhere.
There's probably something missing there as well.
Like Ho and Kit see each other for the first time, and they're just like, alright, how you doing?
Yeah, it feels like that's maybe not the first time.
It's like, fuck's sake, would there not be more like eye-watery or something?
Shit, no, sorry, I must have forgotten to type it up from my notes. My favourite scene in the movie is the scene where Kit calls his wife as he's dying.
Yeah.
That's such a good
emotional
scene.
Yeah, and again, like mad parallels of he's dying as she's given birth, like in the earlier scene where he actually gets shot. Yeah, that's cool.
It's a very sad scene. Leslie Chung, bless him.
Yeah,
he acts his arse off in that scene.
He does. But yeah, the other bit that I really dislike about the movie is where Ho shoots Kit in order to like prove that he's part of the gang and stuff, and like Kit's like, you're gonna have to shoot me again. I'm just like, fuck off. No. He just wouldn't shoot his brother. After watching the first movie and seeing all the shit that Ho went through to try and get back in with his brother, he's not going to shoot him just to like prove that he's part of the gang or something.
It's classic sequel bollocks.
Yeah.
Like you get characters doing things they wouldn't actually do based on the first movie, but they have to because it's a sequel.
Yeah. So yeah, a bit of a mess. Just the whole thing doesn't quite land for me, really.
No. Like I said, it's just a shame. I would like to have seen like what John Woo had in mind. At least like just a work print of that original 160-minute version, just to see what's missing and how it would have maybe been better tightened up. I don't know. We're not going to say it though, so there's no point.
Because it is mad. I mean, the Rocky 4 like tells you, like that re-edit. I mean, don't get us wrong, the film's not a masterpiece or substantially different, but there's just something about Sylvester Stallone re-editing that movie that it does have a different feel.
Oh yeah.
And it's like interesting how different a movie can feel just by the way it's edited.
Yeah, movies are like a lot of the time made in the editing room. You know what I mean?
So yeah, what this film could have been if it was just edited in a bit different way.
Yeah, it could have been a nice follow-on one too. But you know what? I've never watched Better Tomorrow 3, the one Choi Hark directed. Never got around to it.
No, me.
I was gonna have a triple bill, but I was too tired. But
too much.
Yeah.
Well, there's better movies out there to watch as well. Let's face it. If we're gonna do it, yeah, we may as well just stick to like the John Woo movies and stuff.
Yeah. But as for home media, kind of the same as the original Hong Kong and China releases, but there's no 4K remastered Blu-ray of this one as of yet. And like I've heard in the past, at least a lot of older Hong Kong Blu-rays were just DVD upscales for the most part. Some of them anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's look up reviews, make sure. So don't just like immediately import something if you're not sure, because I've heard some early Hong Kong Blu-rays are a bit dodgy. Any art and stuff?
Unfortunately, there is not for Better Tomorrow 1 and 2. There are for some of the films that we'll come to, but not for these two. Interestingly, I thought that some of the art in the second one within the movie was like quite interesting.
Oh, the comic book art. Yeah,
and there's also like a black and white portrait of like the three characters.
Yeah,
at one
I
point.
found that when I was looking for the titles to use for show posts. That was available as like a high quality digital image.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
So yeah, that would be cool, but no, sadly there isn't, and obviously no video games.
No,
or anything.
There was a figure though, wasn't there?
I was going to say I forgot to do this before the show. I'll send you the link on Skype. A figure that I deeply regret not getting, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm really surprised you didn't get that.
So it was produced by Enterbay back in 2013. 2010, I think, actually. So, 13 years old.
Jesus.
It comes with one body, but it comes with two heads and two completely different outfits. So it's kind of like his iconic look from before he gets shot in the leg.
Yeah.
And then the look at the end of the movie where he's got the patch on his face and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It comes with the little truck thing that he slides across the car park with.
That's cool.
And the water barrel. It comes with the tape, the big diskette tape that he gets at the end. It's just like a really solid figure. Really, really good.
Was it like officially licensed, or was it just like marketed as like Gangster Man?
No, it's officially licensed by Enterbay, Better Tomorrow, like licensed by Fortune Star. So
cool.
Yeah, it's a bastard. It's like hen's teeth, basically, that figure now.
Yeah.
It's not available. It's like, I should have got it.
Yeah, that is a shame.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, it's a shame they didn't do like a whole run of Chow Yun-fat and John Woo. Like, you know, you could have a tequila figure. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
A little flak jacket on and that.
Yeah, they're really no-brainer, some of these figures. And obviously, 1/6 action figures. They really love figures, characters that have guns, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, like, there you go. Like, every movie, he's got guns. Like,
give me the killer figure with every weapon he uses in the movie.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it, though. I mean, there might be some more obscure, but it's not. Like we said before, it's one of them funny films that doesn't get enough conversation, really, around it. That it should
not
be.
anymore. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of which, next week we will be looking at The Killer. The film, some would argue, is John Woo's masterpiece. Yeah.
Pulls all the elements together, doesn't it, a little bit? Yeah, definitely.
So that'll be next week, talking about The Killer. Yeah. If you'd like to get in contact, the Chris and Chris Show at gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at The Chris and Chris Show, and go review the fuck out the show on all your favourite social media.
On all the social medias.
On all the podcast places.
give us a review on the FaceTube.
Except Spotify, because we're not on there. We're not cool enough to be on Spotify.
Do you have to pay for Spotify?
No.
Do you have to pay? No,
I just haven't got around to doing it yet.
I don't know. Spotify's for music, man. It's for music.
We're not tagging.
Get the podcasts off that Spotify.
Should get on the radio.
We should be on the radio.
We should be on the radio. Damn right we should.
On the wireless.
On the wireless. On the wireless. So yeah, until next week, folks, we'll be talking about The Killer. I'll see you doing the bit.
See you on the heap.
Bye.